What's up, everybody? It's your boy hashtag Norman Swag once again, coming to you live from my crib. Uh, this is my second installment video of my positive enforcement videos that I'm planning on doing. I'm trying to do at least 10 of them. The first one, so far so good. You know, I got plenty of good comments, especially from my adopted parents. Shout out to Jason and Christine Lister, who I love very much, like my own mom and dad. So just to give you a quick recap, yesterday I talked a little bit about the election and how it had an effect on Americans. And basically, some of you who've seen the videos, agree with me. Sorry, I got a bit of a cold. And I even had one person who was supposed to be my best friend. He didn't agree with me, and he pretty much gave me a middle finger on Facebook or whatever, if you want to call it that. Right now, let's see, what can I talk about? A topic that would, strike people, I guess. Let's see here. I got it. Let's talk about this whole Black Lives Matter thing. Okay. So I don't know exactly when this whole Black Lives Matter movement started, but the first time I heard about it was when I was living in Chicago a couple years ago. I found out, some of you know the story as well, about this kid named Michael Brown who got killed in Ferguson, Missouri, by a police officer that allegedly said that he shot the kid in self-defense, but was indicted on charges. And suddenly, out of nowhere, from just based on my perspective, it may have been around before then, but all of a sudden I started hearing stories about Black Lives Matter, and these people started posting banners in Chicago about it all around the place. Now, first of all, I just want to say the whole idea of Black Lives Matter, that's kind of an oxymoron if you ask me, because of the simple fact that how can you say that only one specific race of people matter? All right? Like, you can't just say, oh, Black Lives Matter, or just white lives matter, or just Latinos lives matter, because it's not fair to everybody else. You see what I'm saying? Like, I've seen videos, as a matter of fact, just recently, like yesterday, yesterday I saw a video of a black mother, need I remind you, who put her 10-year-old son out on the street. Some people say it was controversy, some people say it was real. But she packed her son a bag and put it out on the street. Okay, and put her son out on the street. His little brother was crying for him. He wanted him to come back in the house. And the reason why the mother put the son out was because he was a Trump supporter. Now, first of all, I just want to point out this, one thing about kids. Kids don't really know too much about how elections work or how voting goes. So if a child says that they voted for Trump or voted for Hillary, you can take it into account depending on how old they are, or if you want to discard it, you're the parent, you can do that. I mean, you can you can look at it the other way and say, hey, they're exercising, their freedom of choice or whatever for the first time or something. You can look at it as a positive thing or a negative thing. Now, it's completely wrong when you have a mother who throws her kids out on the street just because they voted for Donald Trump, which I don't even think in elementary schools they are allowed to even have cards or anything that would, even like simulate voting in the polls for children, because they don't know about voting. The kid told his mom that the reason why he voted for Trump was because he saw him on TV a lot. And she put him out on the street. You see what I'm saying? So, you're African Americans, or black people, whatever you want to call them, they're out here talking about Black Lives Matter, but they're treating their own people a certain way. Now, let me give you another example of why Black Lives Matter is, to me, a bit of an oxymoron. Because, for example, another video I saw on Facebook actually. If I could find it, I would post it. I didn't think about it, so I didn't think to post it the other day. But if I could find it, I would definitely post it. I saw on this video some black kids beating up an older white man because he voted for Donald Trump. Now this is black on white crime. You see what I'm saying? That was not white on black crime. That was not cops against civilians. That was a bunch of stupid kids who got together and decided they wanted to lash out and beat up a man on the street because he voted for somebody that they didn't approve of. Okay? So how can you say Black Lives Matter when you have controversy within your own little organization, if you will? If you're supposed to support blacks and support, the race itself, then why are there so many violent attacks that the media doesn't show, by the way? Because the media controls just about 90 something, maybe even 100% of television and other things like that. You know what I mean? And there are so many videos and so many things that happen to other people that just don't get out in the media. It seems like the media is trying to put black on white, and then the next thing you know, Black Lives Matter pops up. You see, it's also an oxymoron to me because you can't just say Black Lives Matter, because what about the little white kids out here who are getting ridiculed by black kids? What about the Latino kids? What about the Latino families? What about other immigrants who came to this country? So you mean to tell me that their lives don't matter too, when we're all supposed to be Americans? I mean, just think about that for a second. Let it simmer in your head, because it doesn't make sense to me that one particular group of people would take something and turn it around into something that it's really not. Every single person on this earth, man, woman, child, whether you be from a different culture, a different race, a different town, a different city, every single person on this earth, their lives matter. If you're a Christian, you're not gonna say, oh, only certain people's lives matter to God because because they're doing right, because they're righteous, or because they know for a fact that they're going to go to heaven. No, everybody has a chance at eternal life, if you want to look at it like that, from a religious standpoint. Every single person on this earth has a chance of eternal life. God doesn't discriminate between race, gender, or he doesn't discriminate against people who come from a different background than most. He does not discriminate against them. Like, that's my thing. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me how people can say Black Lives Matter all the time, but you have black people out on the street preaching that white folks, white men, white women are the devil. You know how many times I've been in Chicago and I've walked down the street and seen guys preaching, literally preaching and trying to use the Bible to justify why the white man is evil. It makes no sense to me. If you're gonna have an organization like that, change it to everyone's lives matter. Because like I said before, every single person has a chance at eternal life. If you believe in God, if you do what you're supposed to do, you have a chance at eternal life. Even those so-called neo-Nazis out there in the streets that are putting swastikas up, that are supporting Trump, they have a shot at eternal life. God is not even going to discriminate against them, even though they discriminate against their brothers and sisters out here. What's happened to America, man? Seriously, what has this election really torn us that bad? I mean, what else is it that I have to say to prove to you guys that this whole thing is just stupid? I was watching a video a little while ago. My buddy, who I go to church with, who's also my home teacher, excuse me, who's also my home teacher, by the way, just to let you know, just in case you didn't see yesterday, I'm LDS. I converted to the church 8 years ago. And that's actually something else I wanted to talk to you about that, but that's a topic for another day. So I showed it, my buddy showed me a video of the guy that was giving hugs. By the way, shouts out to that guy. I love that guy. He's an inspiration to me. He's the reason why I decided to start doing these videos. But anyway, there was a protest going on that turned violent very quickly. The protesters were trying to make it seem like that the cops were so bad, and they were, out there trying to not doing their job properly and trying to make it seem like that they were there to hurt them and stuff like that. But the ones that were protesting, supposedly peacefully protesting, were lashing out at the cops, yelling and screaming at the cops, and the cops were just sitting there, standing there doing nothing, standing guard. You see what I'm saying? I have a friend who's a cop. I haven't seen her in a while, but she was a good friend of mine back in Chicago. She's a police officer now. So I'm supposed to hate her, one of my best friends now, from Chicago. I'm supposed to hate her just because she's wearing a uniform. Having a job as a police officer is just like any other job in America. It really is. I wear a uniform to work every day I have to work. I mean, it ain't nothing but a little red apron, but still. It's a uniform. I'm required to wear it every day to work. So you're supposed to hate me because I wear a red apron to work? Being a police officer is nothing but a job, man. Like, they do their job just like we do our job. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why are people out here hating on cops? I don't get it. I mean, yeah, I admit for a little while I hated on cops too, but then I realized I came to my senses. I was like, wait a minute. These are human beings. Just like we are. And so for you people out there who keep saying Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Okay, Black lives do matter. But so does white lives. So does Latinos. So does, Italian Americans. So does, Arab Americans. Everyone's lives matter, and no person should be discriminated against, should be beat up in this country, in a country who claims to protect the rights of the people. Nobody should get beat up because of that. What does America come to? We got troops fighting for a country that's falling apart on itself. If anybody should talk about it, their lives matter, it should be the veterans. Because they're the ones that's out there fighting and dying, protecting the liberties of the United States and the people of the United States. Tell me why it has to take something like a tragedy for people to come together. Tell me why it has to take September 11th for people to throw down their hatred against each other to help each other. But when something as simple as an election comes around, it tears America apart so fast, it's like ripping a piece of paper. Come on, America, let's get it together. Well, this is Nick Barnes signing off, aka #Mormon Swag, aka the number one, is what some would call me. Check out my videos, videos that I have on YouTube. I got a couple videos of me beatboxing on there, so I do have a little bit of talent and stuff if you want to look at that. And stay tuned to future videos. This is probably going to be my longest video I've ever made, so if you just take the time out to watch it, then I'll be greatly appreciated. But for now, you guys take care of yourselves. I hope you guys can find some peace in this whole situation. Love, peace, slick it back like hair grease. Later.